What's the worst thing about you that you're actually grateful for now? I almost failed out of senior year. Not because I had senior syndrome, but I just couldn't wake up on time. It's not that I don't try. I set alarms. Multiple alarms. I've tried putting my phone beside my ear when I sleep, using that alarm clock that makes you solve a math problem just to turn it off. I've even tried paying my little brother to drag me out of bed. Nothing works. My brain just treats alarm sounds like background music. I'll set 10 of them and wake up 4 hours later with no memory of turning any of them off. My whole life, people told me this would ruin me. My mom called it my fatal flaw. Teachers gave up on me showing up to first period. Friends stopped inviting me to morning stuff because they knew I wouldn't make it. I always swore I'd fix it. But after what happened recently, well, I'm just glad I never did. That day, I finally landed a really nice entry job at a warehouse. It had a good pay, benefits, and at 19 years old without a degree, opportunities like this was rare. But the supervisor made one thing crystal clear during the interview. I don't care if 9 a.m. is clock in. Orientation starts at 6 a.m. and anyone late is out. No exceptions, he said. So the night before my orientation day, I prepared to wake up like my life depended on it. I set up 6 alarms in my room, told my mom to physically shake me at 4 a.m. no matter what. And for the first time since middle school, I went to bed before 9 p.m. hit. But even with all that preparation, I was running late. I woke up sunlight in my eyes. My heart stopped. Sunlight? At 4 a.m.? I jumped out of bed in a panic and looked around at all the clocks in the room. 6 a.m. I had under an hour to get to my job that was 40 minutes away by bus. I raced to the bathroom and got dressed as quickly as I could, then rushed out. But by the time I got to the bus stop, it was too late. I'd missed it. I felt devastated. I sat on the edge of the bench feeling like the biggest failure alive. But I couldn't exactly give up either. I still had 40 minutes. If I sprinted fast enough, maybe I could get to the next bus stop before the bus got to it. I'd be sweaty, but at least I'd be on time. I got up, double-tied my shoelaces, and sprinted down the street. 15 minutes in, I saw the bus just 2 stoplights ahead of me. I was out of breath, and my feet were already screaming at me, but I was almost there. I had to try. But just as I got ready to make another dash, I smelled smoke and burning plastic. At the corner, I saw flames pouring out of a second-floor window of a small apartment building. No fire trucks, no siren, just a little kid standing in the front doorway, crying and rubbing his eyes. I looked at the kid, then at the bus, and made a split decision. I stepped inside the burning building. I scooped up the little boy and dragged him outside away from the smoke. "You need to stay here until the fire trucks arrive, okay?" I told him, kneeling down to check on him for injuries. He cried harder and pointed to the building. "Mommy!" I turned around back to the building, watching the fire already spreading to another building. "Stay here!" I shouted. I took a deep breath, pulled a shift over my nose, and ran back in. The smoke was thick and instantly burned my eyes. I crouched down and shouted, "Hello? Anyone in this room?" I kept moving, crouching, shouting. My lungs screamed at me, but then I heard it, faint coughing coming from somewhere to my left. I followed the sound and found the mother collapsed in the kitchen. I threw her onto my back and started slowly walking toward the front door. We made it outside just as one of the walls collapsed right at the spot she had passed out. The little boy immediately ran over to us, crying, shaking her arm. I laid her out gently, far from the fire, and I sat there on the floor coughing and glanced at my watch. 6 a.m. Goodbye warehouse job. Hello unemployed failure. I laughed, shaking my head. Fire trucks finally showed up a few minutes later. Paramedics rushed over and checked on the mother and kid. One of the firefighters walked over and looked me up and down. "You know, kid, we were across town on another call. If you hadn't been here, those two wouldn't have made it." He patted me on the shoulder and said, "You did good. Real heroic stuff." Something in his words clicked in my head. The very next day, I walked into that fire station and handed them my resume. The guy at the front desk recognized me from the scene. He smiled and handed me the paperwork without a single question. I still oversleep sometimes, but now I've got a crew that makes sure I'm up when it matters.